One of the defining features of Canada's west coast is the coast. With all that water lapping up day after day, of course it's going to lead up to some fishing. One of our favorites is halibut. Halibut are among the largest fish in the sea. They are the largest of all the flatfish, growing to more than 8 feet long and weighing up to 700 pounds. As big as they can get, halibut are prized for their delicate sweet flavor, snow white color, and firm flaky meat. Today, we marry halibut with eggplant for a meal we hope has you lapping up for some more. I'm Garret Schack, and that's what we're cooking on the coast. Welcome to Cooking on the Coast. Today's halibut episode is going to be amazing. We're doing an eggplant wrapped halibut with a vegetable ratatouille. First thing we have to do, eggplant. Look at this beautiful aubergine. Wonderful nightshade vegetable, but we have to do a couple things to it to get it started. Take off the end here, quite prickly, it'll stab your fingers, so be careful. And now we're gonna do some really nice thin slices. This is the wrapping part of our halibut dish. Cut that off to give us a nice firm base to work with. So now it doesn't shake around on us, see that? And then we're just gonna do some nice thin slices here. We're gonna put this in onto a sheet pan next, and we're gonna season it with some salt. The salt does two things. One, it's going to draw out some moisture and a bit of the bitterness that's inherent in eggplant. And two, it's gonna make it a little more pliable so that when we go to wrap it around our halibut, it'll be a lot easier to do. Now, for today's purposes, that's as much as we're gonna do. Sprinkle it with salt. A nice layer of salt. Don't be shy with it. Here we go. Okay, and then you'd set that aside for about 2 hours. Now, onto the halibut. Go over to the fridge and grab that. Here we have a gorgeous piece of halibut. Look at this. This probably came from, I guess probably about a 20-pound halibut, and that's known as a chicken. So when you go to your fishmonger, you kind of want to ask for a fletch off of a chicken, and he'll know exactly what you're talking about, and he'll think you're pretty smart. Again, you can see the lovely clear color. It's kind of got that opaque sort of texture to it or look to it. That's perfect. If it's really, really white, kind of like the color on the chopping board here, that means it's chalky, and you don't really want to choose that piece. Now, for you purists out there, you might want to close your eyes just for a few moments, because I'm going to butterfly this halibut fletch, just like so. And you'll see why in just a moment here. Okay, a nice sharp knife, running it along. There we go. Open it up, and we're going to keep going here a little bit further. Now that we've got it like that, we're going to put a little basil right in the middle of our halibut. Okay, 1 or 2 sort of half tablespoons here will do. Spread it around evenly. You'll notice at this point, I haven't even talked about seasoning, salt or pepper. If we were to add salt to the middle of this now, it would start sucking out the moisture from our halibut, and then we'd end up with a dry fish. We definitely don't want dry fish. Nothing worse than overcooked dry fish when you go to a restaurant. Terrible. Okay. There we are. That'll do. Now we're just going to close it back up, but instead of just folding it back over on itself, we're actually going to roll it up nicely here. Okay, so now that we have that rolled, we need to get working on how we're going to wrap this with the eggplant. So I'm just going to set this to the side. We have some eggplant right here. There it is. So you can see how it's changed. Now, from that process, a lot of that moisture was drawn out and that bitterness. We had to rinse all that salt off, otherwise it would just taste like a big salt lick. And we're gonna put it on some cling film. I have a little bit right here that we'll lay out. We need a piece about the same size as our halibut. And then a nice even layer of these strips here. We wanna make it so that it'll cover the entire halibut. This is actually one of the components to the ratatouille. A traditional ratatouille, which we'll be making up next, actually has eggplant, peppers, zucchinis, red onion, tomato, garlic, and then a few herbs. So this is one of the components. We're not actually going to put it into the ratatouille. So we'll take our halibut, nicely rolled, and we'll put it right in here. I can actually take a couple of those pieces off. Now watch. We're just going to wrap this up like so, pulling the plastic wrap out. and around like that so that we don't tuck it inside the fish. We'll do this fancy little trick that we do in the kitchen where we grab the ends and give it a little roll. One more, tuck it under itself. Now we want to let this sit in the refrigerator, maybe for about an hour or so. So I'll just pop it over there and we'll get started on our ratatouille. Perfect, so I've already mentioned this sort of delicacy of Provence. We have peppers, zucchini, tomatoes, onions, garlic, and what do we need to cook all that? Some olive oil in a hot pan. Straight over here, let's turn up the heat a little bit on this guy. You don't want to be too shy with the olive oil. Olive oil is part of the sauce in this dish. So start with some garlic. There we go. I like to keep it nice and coarse. This is sort of like a stew of types. So a really fresh, vibrant colored stew. Some red onion. There we go. Just half a red onion will do. And then of course, our dicing. Cut through 1, 2, 3 times. Down across those cuts. Look at the color on that red onion, it looks gorgeous. And a trick to not crying while you're cutting onions is a nice sharp knife. It'll cut right through the cells of the onion and they won't burst and actually spray out all over the place. And no one will see that you're upset in the kitchen. There we go. Okay, some zucchini, just cut the ends off here. Got to work quickly here. We don't want our garlic and onions to burn as we're going. We're gonna just dice these up nicely. Okay. Now, that's a great looking dice. Again, you can see the colors are already starting to come together. We got this zucchini right into the pan. We got that gorgeous sound we're looking for. I can already smell the onions and the garlic coming through. Perfect, a little yellow zucchini. Literally a little yellow zucchini. Look at these guys. Somebody was getting too much water, I think. And then we'll move on to our peppers. Look at that. Probably about half of this pepper will do. No, we don't want any of those seeds in there. And I like to pull the rib out as well. There's a sort of white rib that runs down the middle. I like to take that out. I find it's a little bit bitter. We're looking for the sweetness of these red peppers right now. Again, you'll notice the key here is sort of the way we've put this stuff in there. We've put the onions in to soften, the garlic in to caramelize a little bit. Then we added the next thing that's going to take the longest to cook, which is our zucchini. And now we're going to go ahead and add our peppers. Boom, look at how vibrant those colors are. Look at that. Looks amazing. Okay, at this stage, a little bit of salt. Some fresh cracked pepper, of course. Go. And we're almost ready. Okay, I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of wine. We're creating our sauce here, right? So the wine's gonna be part of that base. Look at all those colors. They just look fabulous. The last thing we wanna do is add a bit of tomato. These tomatoes are gonna cook away in there and break down and become part of our sauce. Now we're going to let all those flavors come together and we'll finish this recipe up later on in the show. When we come back from the break, we have a special guest in store for you on Cookin' on the Coast. Welcome back to Cookin' on the Coast. We're on location on a beautiful wet coast day to try out some poutine and burgers. We're here at L'Authentique Poutine and Burger Cart to see what they got cooking up. Let's go check it out. All right, we're out of the rain and inside this L'Authentique Burger and Poutine food cart avec Sébastien, and he's gonna show us what awesome stuff we got going on in the truck today.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. Qu'est-ce que t'as pour nous aujourd'hui?
We'll do a flat grill burger.
Okay.
That's the authentic flat grill that we do back east.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. It's just I put a little bit of butter, like table beef. That's just the pure beef with is nothing add on, and I put my little blend of spice. And
so you don't form a patty or anything, huh?
No. Just is it my hand, right?
Yeah, cool.
It's just 1/3 of a pound.
Right.
And we just let the flat grill do the work for us.
Nice. And I guess this keeps it from getting like dry. And...
Yeah, you keep the moisture and all the juice inside. That's what people ask always. Why like it always like do? Because I don't stress the beef. I don't use a press. I don't press too much.
Juiciest burgers in town are done on a flat top, just like this. It's perfect.
Well, we press one time.
Okay.
And what do you want? Do you want my authentic signature burger?
You show me whatever's your best dish.
It's the méchant burger. We call it the mean burger.
The méchant burger. I like that.
So we add some onions, a couple slices of bacon here, a little bit pre-cooked.
Perfect. Yeah. I see you've got the red potatoes here for your poutine.
Yeah, we use the red because the red is a little bit sweeter.
Yeah.
And I think they are more meaty. And this is what most of the people use back east.
For your poutine, I mean, obviously there's a few key ingredients to that.
It's 3 key.
3 key ingredients.
It's like the fry, the cheese, and the gravy, of course.
The smell coming off this grill right now is phenomenal. The onions
Spice
cooking
the other
away.
side there.
And just that sizzle, I mean, you can hear how good this burger is going to taste.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Put some water in
Sebastian knows a thing or two about cheese curds. He worked at the cheese curd factory, the cheese factory that actually these curds come from. So he knows good cheese curds.
You have to know the curd, but you have to know what to do, how to process with it.
Right.
I won't tell you all my secrets, but if you know, like, it's like anything, when you know how to handle it.
I love how you can still see the texture in the meat. You can tell that these burgers haven't been over-processed or anything like that.
Yeah.
That is just ground beef.
Like
Fantastic.
even
burgers are just about ready. They look great.
good. Always that's fantastic.
Very nice. My mouth is watering just looking at this. Onions, mushrooms, bacon. Sebastian, what are you doing to me here? This is
No, wait. We're missing one ingredient. I have some Montreal smoked meat. So I do some smoked meat, but I use on the méchant burger, the signature burger. Let me just take a slice of cheese, guys.
the méchant burger, the angry burger, the mean burger.
Yeah, it's about like at the end when it's stacked together, it's about close to I would say 3/4 pound almost. Right?
Oh, nice.
Let's do one of those here. Some onions, put the bacon.
Look at that coming
I don't
together.
like to, I think all my kitchen work is all upside down, like my patty never like all around, but this is what we love. Because this is how you know like it's homemade, right?
Yeah, that's how you know it's made by hand and with love, right?
Yeah. Okay, last squeeze, turn that back. Put a little slice of Swiss cheese here. We got
the Swiss
that
mushroom
one.
burger.
Guys, you let me just come here.
Fresh sliced Montreal smoked meat on the authentic burger. If only you could smell this in this truck right now. No wonder this place gets so busy. The hood vent's sucking all the scents out of here, and you can just smell it outside the truck.
We can leave those. Yeah, that's good.
Perfect.
Just give me a little bit of mayo here.
You can see these carts are really tight space. You have to know what you're doing while you're working on here.
Yeah, it's always like we play a little bit of shoulder, like a hockey game if you want.
It's like a hockey game. That's great.
Yeah, a little bit toast, a little bit too much here, but it's still good. With the, that's the thing. You talk, like that's the same with customer. If you talk a bit too much, you forgot. That's why you have to learn how to do everything at the same time. That's the méchant burger.
Multitasking is key. Look how nicely that cheese is melted. I love how the flat top starts caramelizing that cheese a little bit too. It looks great.
Good, check that. Let's make some poutine, guys, to go with that.
La pièce de résistance here, huh?
Et voilà. Best combo you can have. That's the classic poutine, like we say earlier.
And this gravy, this isn't out of a box somewhere, is it?
The secret. I have to keep some secret. I can't tell you everything.
Hey, you can't let us in on all your secrets, so nobody will come to your
it's already. Hey, you came in the cave. That's already like a big step, right? And every day we do a special poutine daily.
Yeah.
That's why today I do a sloppy Joe poutine today.
Sloppy Joe poutine
So I
today.
made that like probably an hour ago. Now it's at this perfect can be.
Nice, and again,
A little bit sweet and spicy. That's all like same thing. I did that on flat grill with jalapeno, red pepper, and you put a little bit sweetness of corn over that.
Very nice, very nice.
Like, every bite of that, you will remember where you get it, for sure.
Nice. You can see the cheese curds haven't just completely disappeared and melted away. They're still like, they still hold their texture.
You get a big, people say, hey, it's not melt or whatever. Cheese curl not supposed to melt.
It's not supposed to melt.
It's supposed to be like that. Like
there's a reason they call it the squeaky cheese, right?
Yeah, squeaky cheese.
I'm gonna dig into it.
Yeah, try it out.
I can't wait any longer.
Let's got a burger. Want to try a little slice of burger?
Man. The cheese curds still have that squeak, the nice crispy fries, and that gravy, Sebastien. That gravy is phenomenal.
Mushroom sauce.
Oh man, look at that.
Right now.
Look at that. You can see all the textures in that meat. Just fabulous. I'm gonna have a bite of this. Oh my God. I'm speechless. So juicy. The mushrooms are perfectly cooked. They're not all mushy and gross. That's fabulous.
I can cut that one in two.
I don't know if I'll get my mouth around that one.
Why? I can cut because of the bacon and everything.
Yeah, no, here, let's
try it
out.
out. You there.
If I have to. Look, it's Montreal smoked meat, onions, cheddar cheese, bacon. All right, here goes nothing. Oh.
What are you thinking? Good flat grill?
It just makes it so juicy.
It's just different, I think. I think we hit.
Sébastien, merci beaucoup pour m'avoir ici. Thanks for having me here. I'm going to finish off this burger and I'll be back with more cooking on the coast right after this. Welcome back. Now, the halibut. We've done all the teasing leading up to it. Let's get into cooking. We've got our halibut that's had a chance to rest, and we're gonna slice it right here, but we're gonna leave the plastic on until we're done. Nice thick piece. This is probably good for about 5 or 6 people. Look at that. Have the lovely basil infusion in there. The eggplant's nicely on it. That's great. Now here's a tip. We want to blot this, so we're going to soak up some of the moisture in a little bit of paper towel before we go, and I'll tell you why. We want a smoking hot pan, something nice with a nice thick bottom that's going to really retain the heat. Get a little bit of vegetable oil in there. That's perfect. We want to see it sort of dancing in the pan. Meantime, we've soaked up some of the moisture, and now we add that salt. A little seasoning, of course, some fresh cracked pepper, always fresh cracked pepper. And then we go straight to the pan. There we go. Make sure you always lay away from you. There we are. Another little bit of seasoning on the other side, because both sides need to be seasoned, obviously. Now, try not to shake the pan too much. We don't want to fiddle with it. We're trying to develop a really nice golden crust here. Halibut holds up really well to all types of cooking. I think that's probably why it's so prized on this coast. We have searing, grilling, you can marinate it. It's a fabulous, fabulous fish. Let's just have a quick look here and see how we're doing. Oh, look at that. We're starting to get some golden crust already. Another few seconds, we'll be able to flip it over, and then we're gonna fire this into a 350-degree oven. Should finish in about 4 to 5 minutes. Yes, look at that. Amazing. Straight into the oven. I'm coming. All right already. Now, let's finish up our vegetable ratatouille. You can see in the pan that our vegetables have had a chance to sweat down a little bit. They've softened but still have some bite. We're gonna finish this up with a little white wine, because wine tastes great with everything. Pan. And then just some freshly chopped herbs. We've got some basil, some parsley, a little oregano. Now, we don't have to go super fine on this. I like a nice rustic chop. It's gonna add lots of fresh flavor and a little bit of color. Straight into the pan. See if we can give this a few tosses without losing too much. There we go. Just a nice few scoops in there. Get some of that zucchini, some of those peppers, lots of those fresh herbs. You can smell the garlic coming off it too. It's just fantastic. Again, that's just about perfect for one small portion. Let's grab our halibut out of the oven. Still sizzling away nicely. And let's just see how this looks here. Give it another turn. Oh, lovely, lovely. Has a nice crust on it. Set that right in the center of the plate. We'll finish with just a few fresh pea shoots. Maybe a little more. I love the pea shoots. And a nice touch of olive oil. Find something that has a really grassy flavor, deep color. And there we have it. Eggplant wrapped halibut on a vegetable ratatouille. And now, the beverage pairing. I'm here today with Gary Lindsay from Driftwood Brewing. How you doing, Gary?
Hey, Garret, good
nice
to see you
today, buddy.
Cheers, my pleasure to be here.
So what have you brought for us to try?
Well, I brought some white bark wit beer, actually. One of the first beers we made from the brewery. It's a Belgian-style wheat beer.
Very cool. Now, so I know there's Hefeweizen, and wit means there's some kind of wheat involved here or something like that. So how does that...
There's a few different styles of wheat beer actually out there, and this is a Belgian style. The wit actually just means white. The white beer, and this sort of has a nice white lacy head to it. You'll see that when we get to pour it. It's flavored with a couple things too, actually. The Belgians aren't scared of using some herb and spice into their beers, so there's some extra...
crazy Belgians, hey?
I know. So we got some coriander and some bitter orange peel, actually, which is actually brewed right into the beer.
Oh wow, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, I think that'll go really nicely with what we've got here, because we have some vegetables and a little bit of basil in the halibut. So
brilliant.
Should we crack it open and
let's do this
and try these out?
I can't wait.
Again, this is my favorite part of the show, because I get to hang out with you guys and drink some beer.
Part of what we do a little bit of each day, anyway.
Now, is there some truth to the glassware that you use?
Any glass will do.
I like how that sounds. I'm a right out of the bottle kind of guy, but
exactly.
I always look funny with those big bottles in my hand.
You know, with the glass, it opens up the flavors of the beer. It's like anything. We actually taste a lot of things through our nose, and if you get that interaction, as you know, if you plug your nose, it's hard to taste anything.
Yeah, right.
And,
I'm digging right in here.
Yeah,
I'm not going to mess around.
Cheers.
Oh wow, it's so smooth.
That's perfect.
That is delicious. I love the head on that. Now let's try how this works here.
Oh, excellent.
Messing around, get these.
Getting the greens out of the way.
Get those green things out of the way. They're just for looks, really. Anyway.
My wife might see me eating that.
She'll expect you to do it all the time.
Exactly. You got a little bacon wrapped around this too.
Halibut. Oh, sorry, eggplant.
Eggplant. Ah, that's
eggplant wrapped right around there.
Brilliant.
So, what's a play on the deconstructed ratatouille?
Oh,
the halibut's so fresh. That basil.
I have some more of those vegetables in there, actually.
Perfect pairing, Gary. Well done, sir. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks very much for being here. Check out our website where you'll find more information on today's show and maybe even a few surprises. I'm Garret Schack. Thanks for watching, and don't forget, savor the flavor.